Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. In this video, I am going to be giving you the results of what happened in round 2 of Super Rugby Aotearoa 2021. But if you do enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. But yeah, let's get right into it. So round 2, similar to round 1, had some pretty entertaining rugby. The two matches that were played were the Chiefs versus the Highlanders and then the Crusaders versus the Hurricanes. So the match between the Crusaders and the Hurricanes actually got shifted from Saturday night to Sunday afternoon. But it was still a very good game of rugby to watch. It did have a little bit of a crowd as well, more of a crowd than the match between the Chiefs and the Highlanders, but I will start with that one. So the term "a game of two halves" has been used quite often throughout the Super Rugby Aotearoa competition, and this round was no different. So the first half of the Chiefs versus Highlanders match, it was going the Chiefs' way, but then that second half, Jona Nareki happened. That man just brought his game to a whole new level, and that is why he is going to be popping up quite a few times throughout this video. But in the end, the Highlanders were able to win that match 39 points to 23, which did actually lead to them getting the bonus point as well. So at that stage after that game, they were actually sitting in first place on the overall table, even though they did lose their game against the Crusaders in the week before. So then at that stage, they were sitting pretty comfortably. The tries throughout that Chiefs versus Highlanders match for the Chiefs, it was Luke Jacobson and also Damien McKenzie, and then for the Highlanders, it was Shannon Frizzell, Folau Fakatava, and then Jona Nareki was able to pick up the hat-trick and get himself 3. So it was a good game to watch, but yeah, once again, a game of completely two different halves. And throughout that first half, the Highlanders, they did actually receive 2 yellow cards. It was Sio Tompkinson and also Ash Dixon who got them. So throughout the Super Rugby Aotearoa competition, up to that point, there had actually been 2 yellow cards in every match. Although the match that I am going to be talking about very soon, Crusaders and Hurricanes, that did end up changing the pattern. So even with those cards, the Highlanders were able to get the win in the end. And a stat that we have to mention, Jona Nareki, 195 running meters. That is a crazy stat, and by far the highest of this year's Super Rugby Aotearoa competition. That's going to be hard to beat as well, alongside the fact that he got 3 tries, and also I believe he assisted Shannon Frizzell's try. So he did have an impressive second half, Jona Nareki, and he is going to be an exciting player to watch moving forward in the competition. So now I will move on to the second match of round 2 of Super Rugby Aotearoa. That was between the Crusaders and the Hurricanes. And it was once again almost a game of two halves. The Hurricanes, they ended up getting the better of the second half, but unfortunately for them, it was just a little bit too late. The yellow card of Ardie Savia in the first half, it was rather costly for them. During the time that Ardie Savia was off the field, the Crusaders were able to score 3 times. And I felt like at the time that was almost the game over for the Hurricanes at that stage, because going into halftime they were 26-6 down, and it was going to be a mountain to climb if they did want to get back into that match against a lot of people's pick to win the whole Super Rugby Aotearoa competition. So in the end, the score was 33 to the Crusaders and 16 to the Hurricanes. So the Hurricanes, they were able to score 2 tries in that second half. They were scored by Peter Umaga-Jensen and Ricky Riccatelli. And then for the Crusaders, they were able to score 5 tries throughout the match, so they got the bonus point for that one as well. So 2 bonus point performances from the Highlanders and the Crusaders this week. The Crusaders, the tries were scored by Richie Mo'unga, Ethan Blackadder, Scott Barrett, and then Cody Taylor was able to get 2. So there is a little bit of a trend happening in Super Rugby Aotearoa so far. So at this stage of the competition, the backs and forwards have actually scored the exact same amount of tries. 13 for the forwards, 13 for the backs. And of those 13 tries for the forwards, 7 of them have been scored by the hookers, number 2s for each side. So of those number 2s, we have had 3 tries for Cody Taylor, 2 tries for Asafa Moa, 1 for Ricky Riccatelli, and then also 1 for Brodie McAllister. So that is a pretty interesting stat, and I will be keeping that updated as the competition goes on. Now we will move on to some player stats as well. We will see who is sitting where in terms of the top try scorers, etc. But we will get straight into that. So for the top try scorers, the man who I mentioned just before, Cody Taylor, is sitting first equal, and he is sitting on 3, and the man who is sitting equal with him, that is Jona Nareki. He scored all 3 of his in just the one match against the Chiefs. Then in second, it is a tie between 2 forwards. It is Shannon Frizzell of the Highlanders, and then also Asafa Moa of the Hurricanes, although Asafa Moa did look like he had a little bit of an injury coming off the field against the Crusaders in about the 50th minute, so that is a big concern for the Hurricanes. and hopefully he is alright to go for next week. So clean breaks at the top of the list, it is Jona Nareki with 7, and then in second it is Brad Weber for the Chiefs, so that is pretty impressive from the number 9 for the Chiefs there. Now, defenders beaten. It is a tie for first place, and it is Etene Neno-Saturo and also Jona Nareki both sitting on 14. Now, the most offloads in the competition at the moment, it is Sevu Reece with 6, and then in second it is Salisi Reasi Tupava'ai and also Sam Whitelock on 3. Now, I will talk about tackles won. Tom Christie at the moment is sitting at the top on 32 tackles made throughout 2 matches, which is very impressive from him. He had a very busy week and he was the top tackler in round 2. There is a tie for second place for that, and it is Karefi and Sam Whitelock, and they are only on 23. So that just shows how busy Tom Christie has been. Now, I will talk quickly about the man who is 5th on that list with 20 tackles, Ethan Blackadder. Unfortunately for him, looked like he had a head knock in the later stages of the match between the Crusaders and the Hurricanes. So I would assume more than likely he will be missing the next couple weeks, which is a shame because of the fact that he was the top tackler after round 1. And it is a big shame to see that he has just come back from injury and now he may possibly have a concussion on his hands. Right, so for the top point scorer, it is Richie Mo'unga for the Crusaders on 19, closely followed by Damian McKenzie of the Chiefs, so on 18. And then there is a two-way tie between Jona Nareki and Cody Taylor, who are both sitting on 15 there. Now, another stat that I will be talking about is carries, and at the moment it is Ardie Savia sitting on 20 carries. He is in first place, closely followed by Cullen Grace and Ngāti Laumape, who have both had 19. Right, now this is the exciting one. Meters carried. I feel like this one is pretty one-sided at the moment. It is Jona Nareki. He is sitting on 276 meters carried. And then when you hear how many second places on, it is Lester Whananuku of the Crusaders. He is sitting on 150 meters. So at the moment, Jona Nareki a whole 126 ahead. And even if someone has a good game next week, they may still not quite be able to catch Jona Nareki there. And I feel like that is the same feeling that the Chiefs had when he scored 3 against them. That sounded harsh, but he was on fire, that man. Then in third, it is Ardie Savia on 134, and then Cody Taylor is in fourth, sitting on 116. Right, so at the moment, the discipline side of it for the Hurricanes has got them in a little bit of trouble. They are sitting on 3 yellow cards so far, and then they are closely followed by the Highlanders and the Crusaders on 2. But then defenders beaten, they have actually bet 9 more defenders than any other side, the Hurricanes. So hopefully after their week off, they will be able to have a good performance up against the Chiefs. Right, so the last thing I will talk about is who is going to be playing next week, and it is going to be the Crusaders versus the Chiefs, and then the next game is going to be the Blues versus the Highlanders. So they could be 2 very interesting matchups. Do let me know who you think is going to be winning those matches in the comment section below. But nonetheless, that is going to be the end of this round 2 roundup that I have done. I hope you have enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all in the next one.